The honest answer is sometimes yes, sometimes and more often, it's somewhere in between. Most companies intend for these surveys to be anonymous, especially when they're run through third-party platforms. The goal is to encourage honest feedback without fear of retaliation. And in many cases, individual responses are not directly tied to your name in a way that a manager can just click and see this person said this. But here's where reality comes in. Even when surveys are labeled anonymous, they are often not completely untraceable. First, there's data aggregation. Many systems won't show results for very small groups, for example, fewer than 5 or 10 employees, specifically to protect anonymity. But if your team is small or your role is very specific, it can still be easy to infer who said what based on context. Second, there's writing style and content. If you leave detailed comments referencing specific situations, phrasing that sounds like you or issues only a few people would know about, a manager may not technically know, but they may feel very confident guessing. Third, there's metadata and system access. In most reputable survey tools, direct identifiers are restricted. But at a company level, certain administrators, usually in HR or analytics, may have access to more detailed data than frontline managers. That doesn't mean they're actively exposing identities, but it does mean the system itself isn't always 100% blind. Now let's address the claim. Leaders absolutely look up who left bad feedback. In well-run organizations using credible survey platforms, leaders typically cannot directly look up individual responses tied to names. That would undermine the entire purpose of the survey and create legal and cultural risk. However, that doesn't mean leaders don't try to figure it out indirectly, especially if feedback is very specific or critical. That's human nature. So what should you do with that information? Be honest, but be smart. Focus on constructive, specific feedback about processes, systems, and outcomes rather than personal attacks. Phrase things in a way that could reasonably apply to broader team experience, not just a single moment that clearly identifies you. If you're raising serious concerns like ethics, harassment, or retaliation, those are often better handled through formal HR channels rather than relying solely on an anonymous survey comment. In simple terms, most employee surveys are designed to be anonymous, and in many cases they are, at least technically, but they are rarely completely untraceable, especially in small teams or with highly specific feedback. The safest mindset is this: assume your name is not attached, but your voice might still be recognizable.